back to another episode of the platform. I'm your host, Jay Hope, joined by my co-host.
Safian Lewis.
And we got two very special guests for y'all. So good that we had to do it twice.
I love them both. This is Jay Ben. We have Ben and Hunter both here with us.
Hello. Great to be here.
Yes.
Hey, let's get it started, man. So, first off, how y'all been?
Good.
Very busy.
Yeah, very, very busy. What have we done since Halloween?
Oh, man. We've just been playing. We threw a house show in our basement.
Yeah.
At our studio.
At our first house show.
So that was pretty exciting.
It was really, really cool. We've just been making music, writing stuff, and yeah.
So we got new songs on the way is what I'm hearing.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yes.
All right, so tell the people about J Band. Introduce yourselves. What's the background behind all of this?
Sure. I mean, I could talk a little bit about how we met, how it developed. Ben and I have known each other for many years, best friends since, I don't even know when, 2019 maybe, but we met before then. We met like middle school jazz band. And, from there we did like band together all throughout high school. And then I came to Penn State. I'm a grade above. And I spent a lot of my first year at Penn State learning about like music production, like the technical side of music, and like we'd always been about like writing songs and playing together. And so we found all these sort of like combined forces whenever band came up to Penn State and formed Jay. And then since then, this has been about making music. We released one album in 2023 and a few singles this year as well. And hoping to have a lot of projects coming out in 2025. So I don't know if I miss any big details.
No, I mean, no, that was it. We've always been musicians, and it took us kind of a surprisingly long time to make music together.
Yeah, we were good friends for a number of years, and we played and like made music with like other people, and we even like made content and stuff, like posted to social media. But for as close as we were, hung out all of high school, we really didn't start making music till like we got to college, which also was pretty cool. I think I'm glad we did it that way.
I agree. Yeah.
So what really pushed you guys to actually pursue that? Like to actually start the music thing?
I think it just felt natural.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had like a transition in my musical journey. I was like very into classical and jazz music in high school. I played saxophone and clarinet and stuff. And I only really got into like songwriting and our type of music like my senior year of high school. So I guess it never really came up between us until that point. And then after that summer, after I graduated high school, we really got into it.
Yeah, we had like a few like silly stray songs that we did make together. Like some random weekends in high school, we get together, like go to Ben's house and just like record some stuff. I mean, they're pretty awful. But one of them did end up becoming our first single, "Runaway," which is pretty cool.
Two of them actually ended up.
Two of them?
We wrote "Maybe It's Me" as well.
Oh, right. So I guess there were two songs, kind of like from like that high school era.
That was it though.
Yeah. But it went through like a lot of reworking before we like released it, kind of recently. But yeah, I think it pretty much sums it up.
So my question is, where did the name J Band originate? I mean, you're Ben, you're Hunter. Where does J come in?
Yeah, we didn't combine our names. You want to tell the story about the street?
Yeah, I mean, quite simply, it was the name of my grandfather, who's been a big inspiration for us, and yeah, it was really just that. He always was very supportive of our music and our interests, and we wanted to honor him somehow, so we just changed the spelling a little bit.
He's a guiding figure for us.
Yeah.
So talk about some of your performances that you got to do this year and how it felt for you guys to live that surreal moment and actually perform in front of a crowd.
For sure. Yeah, this was definitely our first year of like actually gigging. We dropped our album in the summer of 23, and then we played our first show Halloween of 2023 at Duquesne University, just in their like TV studio. It kind of similar to this, honestly. It was pretty cool, but we really didn't start gigging until this year. What we did, we went out and we call it like the J 2024 initiative, and we printed out a bunch of like packets with just like our basic info, and we went all around like Pittsburgh, which is like where we're from. Went all kinds of like restaurants and bars and businesses and stuff, and like asked to speak to management and just like handed them like the packet. And we actually ended up getting like a few gigs. I don't know if you want to talk about like some of the highlights, like some of the cool gigs that we did.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the summer is pretty chill. We mostly just did restaurants and bars and wherever. it was sort of like a warm up those few months, just because we never
Definitely.
really extensively gigged publicly. I would say we really started moving when we got to Penn State this semester. Right off the bat, we opened for Sway Lee at the Lights Up Festival the first week of school, which was just incredible. I mean, it was like 500 something people, and so many other amazing performers were there.
I almost forgot we did that.
I know, it feels so long ago.
It kind of escaped from my mind. That was huge, like hundreds of people with that.
I was definitely there for that. That was a crazy show.
It was unreal.
It was really unreal. Yeah.
Tell us about the music background and kind of experience being. Are you both from Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
So being from Pittsburgh,
same high school and everything.
Being from Pittsburgh, like, tell us about the music background and how you feel about maybe the music industry within Pittsburgh.
Yeah, for sure. I'll let you go first.
Yeah. I mean, Pittsburgh specifically, I don't know if I'd say it has like a super crazy music scene. So it definitely didn't like help our development in that way. But
pretty local.
It was all very local. I've noticed there's a really big gap. It's basically just like small local bands and then like touring acts that come through. There's not really that kind of middle ground of like somewhat successful bands. So it can be hard to kind of get started and get past that, that initial point. But I think there's just so much talent in Pittsburgh. So that's obviously very inspiring, at least to me. Seeing all the different bands and just everything that's going on in Pittsburgh is really cool.
Yeah, we come from different like instrument backgrounds as well. Ben mentioned he started on like the saxophone, which is what he played in jazz. I should play saxophone as well, but like never really got like into that. Ben plays a bunch of instruments. It would take a couple of minutes to list them all off. Yeah. Everything like woodwinds to brass, obviously bass.
Do it all.
Yeah, honestly. I started on piano. That's always been like my instrument. I picked up guitar a little bit along the way. But yeah, we sort of combined those forces.
What was it like, coming from me? I've never been to Pittsburgh, but I feel like it's pretty small. So
yeah,
Pittsburgh versus Penn State, like, how was the adaptation? How long did it take for you to get comfortable?
Well, I will say, just like first and foremost, like Penn State has a much more like, just by nature of being a college town, it's so energetic. Like things like this are happening, like us talking, you guys like starting up like this podcast, people creating things. I don't think there's any other place, really, any other kind of place in the world than like a university campus with just like so much happening so fast. So I feel like definitely in Pittsburgh, our like plan is always more of just like, can we play just like bigger and better venues? We've got like some cool things in Pittsburgh, like Q92.9. We went on the radio. We got to do an interview on the radio and play for them. But I don't know. Do you want to speak on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd say Pittsburgh is probably bigger than a lot of people realize. It's a pretty good sized city, but it's definitely more like spread out. Like it can be hard to like get into the scene and kind of find the artists. Where I think here, once you're in the scene, it's just like everybody is just doing something at all times. There's always something to be doing. There's always a show to be going to, some event. It's a lot, just like everything's very put together. And I think that's just the nature of it being sort of a smaller campus, just with so many people.
Yeah, by the very nature of it, there's just like so many people here. You're bound to find people with like similar interests and things that you're into. So there's just like an inconceivable number of people who are like into music, into playing it and enjoying it live. And they really played into like during our first show. Like actually having people show up to it. It was really it was tremendous.
Yeah. So I wanted you guys to talk more about your Penn State music group and the importance of self-promotion. Because you did say that you were going out and giving out flyers with all of your information and stuff. So talk about that process and talk about the creation of PSMG.
Yeah, that's definitely that's all you, Hunter. Yeah. Hunter was the lead force on that
for sure. I guess I kind of planted the seed for it. Well, like I mentioned. Okay, first things first. I didn't want to go to college. I talked to my. I remember we talked about this last time. I talked to my mom. I talked to my dad, and they're like, "You should like give it a try." I was like, "I want to take a gap, but you should give it a try." So I came here, and I was kind of reluctant to like do business and stuff. I chose marketing. I thought I'd work in like music marketing or something. Then, as I went throughout like my first year, I actually thought business was quite interesting, and so, as I taught myself business and taught myself music production, by the end of my freshman year, and when Ben and I decided to like record our first album and stuff, we were speaking, like the latter half of the summer, and I sort of had this just small idea to combine our sort of desire to learn more about the industry and like how to promote ourselves, with actually like showcasing more music at Penn State. Looking around, there's like some festivals, like there's Lights Up where we open for Sway, and there's like Moving On and stuff, but really there wasn't like a student run like record label, and some schools have that. And so the idea was pretty much we started to learn more about the industry, which I think we really have, as well as showcase the talent that exists here. Because like we mentioned, it's just like there's so many people. So we got together with a guy we met at the very beginning of Ben's freshman year, beginning of my sophomore year. It just so happened we met somebody perfectly aligned with their interests. His name is Bryce, and he's actually our manager now, but he co-founded PSMG with us. And the three of us just formed as a team and kicked it off, and it's been about a year now, I think, since it's been going. So it's been pretty good.
Yeah. So how do you guys feel about combining friendship and business as well, as including with your manager as well as both of you in the music group? So could that be difficult at times?
Why don't you speak on this, Ben?
Yeah, it can. It can be really, really great. There's a lot of great aspects about being, working so closely with people you're so close with. But there's definitely problems that come up between both PSMG and Jay. We bicker about things and have disagreements, and even with Bryce, our manager, there's things we disagree on or things we don't like. That's just the nature of business. It's never personal. There's things that get in the way sometimes.
I think there's only like a few people in your life, with whom like you truly get to the point where like an argument, whatever, it doesn't really mean anything. And this is like a big fight or something. Most of the time, like maybe we'll bicker over like an Instagram post or something. We move on. I think the big thing is like we just have so much fun doing what we're doing. We both wear a bunch of hats. PSMG, not throwing our own shows, Jay, making music, all this stuff, even just like general interest, we have a lot of fun, and I think laughing through it all makes it enjoyable. Same thing with Bryce, just laughing through it all.
If you ain't arguing and making up, are you really friends?
Right.
Exactly.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
Exactly.
We argue
It's
all
just
the
like
time.
little things all the time. It's nothing.
Talk about. Well, I don't know. Is it kind of difficult being as though you taught yourself music production and then you not only produce your own songs but you write like your own songs. You basically do everything by yourself. Does that become difficult at times or?
Yeah. So I feel like. So initially, I actually didn't really want to learn music production. I didn't realize that I loved music production until I like learned it. I was recording like solo music. That's what I was doing before Jay was like making my own stuff. I have like songs out that I did previously, and I only learned how to produce them because I was like, oh, I feel like I have to. I don't want to pay a producer. But then I found like I really love it, and so now we're at the point where even if we had like the resources, like we had access to top tier producers. Like of course, a collaboration is one thing. But I have to work with like a really creative producer or something like a Jack Antonoff or like a Phineas or somebody. I don't know, a really cool producer to collaborate with. That would be cool. But in terms of like the general sound, I think that like the writing and the production play into each other so much. I think that the themes, the vibes we're going for, we like to create it all ourselves because I think naturally we're just kind of do-it-yourself people. We like to just do things ourselves.
Save a lot of money doing it yourself.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And you get it done right because you're doing it how you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So talk about the creative process and the writing process for both of you guys. Is it something that always happens together? Does it sometimes happen separate and then gets combined? Like, tell us about that.
I'll let you speak first on your thing.
I think a lot of people might think, I would assume that, people think we make music like all together, like we write together, we record together, all that. But honestly, we really don't write together a whole lot. I find, at least personally, I can't keep up with Hunter when we're writing together. He's just like so fast with all the lyrics and stuff. So I feel like I really like to sit down just by myself and like dedicate the time, thought, and really just like work through it myself. And there are some scenarios where we'll, write something together or have an idea during practice and build off of that or something. And obviously we record together most of the time. But I think a lot of my best writing is usually done by myself.
Yeah, we generally do. We write, I'd say like semi-independently, where we mostly write a song by ourselves, and then bring it to the other, and we kind of collaborate and like finish it, polish it, you know. But like personally, it happens all different kinds of ways. Like there are some songs like what's going to be on our upcoming EP that we're going to release in 2025. It's called Untied, and like it's a song we heard like a guitar sample from somebody we were actually going to collaborate with. It's just a short guitar stint, and we ended up just like writing the entire song together in a few minutes. It was crazy. It just like happened. There's other times, like I'll just be. I mean, there's songs I've been writing for years, and I still don't feel like it's just like ready yet. Like I'll go back once every couple months. I'll just like change a lyric, and it sits there. It's just the way it is. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. So I think there's all different kinds of ways. I always like to try different like methods. Whether it's like waking up and immediately just writing stuff down. Sometimes if I want to think of lyrics, I'll just like lay on the couch or like lay on my bed and just like close my eyes and like think of what's coming to me. And I think a lot of times like Ben writes off like instruments. If I'm not like incorrect, like you write like instruments, like I pick up a guitar and strum or play some piano chords. I generally like I kind of like to almost like start with like the concept, start with the lyrics, or even just like hum a melody to myself. And that I'm just not entirely like I play piano, but sometimes I feel like limited by writing on instruments. I just like to kind of let the ideas flow from my brain.
Nice. So tell us about.
I was gonna go. Sorry.
You're sharing the mics.
Yeah, we're sharing the mic. Sorry about that. But I was gonna ask you guys. So since you said that you usually have different like types of writing styles, do you feel like you have a set? How would I say this? A set thing that you have to have every time. Like, is it something that's required in your setting when you're writing, or something that you like to do specifically when you're writing, or is it just different every time?
That was close to my question.
It's also a good question.
I would say the only thing I like absolutely need when I'm writing is I absolutely fill up my voice memos app because I always think like if I like sing a nice melody, I will forget it in like 10 seconds if I don't record it. And like my voice memos app takes up like half the storage on my phone. Like I think that is the absolute essential thing is just like remembering the ideas because whenever you're singing, like you kind of just have to hear it until you remember it. There's really no other way to do it.
Same exact thing here, down to every last detail. Voice memos comes in so clutch. That's like it's definitely the best tool in terms of like the structure of a song. Like there's like elements we need to have every time. I've thought about this a lot. Like I like being like analytical, like breaking things down like piece by piece. And with music, honestly, I don't think there's like one thing with our songs. Maybe like a good bass line.
Of course.
but honestly, I don't know.
Does it sometimes become difficult to balance, the business side of music with the fun side, or do they kind of play hand in hand?
Yes, it does. Because, we wear a lot of hats. I don't know if you agree. Sometimes I feel like it gets a little bit muddled.
I think it does in a way, but also music is just so like natural. Like if I focus on the business stuff, the music still just comes to me. Like it's not like I have to split my attention because I like can't turn off the music part of my brain. It's just always working.
It's honestly facts. I'm really looking forward to this summer because last summer I had like the perfect setup. I worked a day job. I'm actually still working. I work for Aldi. I'm just like yeah. I'm just doing like kind of like I was working supply chain management, so like Microsoft Excel, whatever. And like the whole day, I'd just kind of be like in numbers and like music would be like the back of my brain. Like finally, I just go home and like unleash. Like I'd go to like Jaaye practice or like we have a studio session or something. It's just I think that music is like the one thing in life that's truly just, or I guess art in general, is just completely unstructured. There's no rules. Just kind of do whatever you want.
So, what projects do you feel like was the most powerful projects in your personal opinion that you've done?
That's a good question.
Truly, if I had to answer honestly, it'd be the ones that are coming up that like we're working on.
Yeah.
Those concepts, the things we're putting together, I'm really, really excited about. But in terms of what's out,
I've I've always felt very strongly about Head to the Sun, just because
Yeah, we gonna play
that was really. Actually, I want to change my answer. I do love Head to the Sun, but I think the most powerful song for me off of our first album is called Deep Thoughts. It was actually basically the first full song I ever wrote, and it was the first time I really felt like I could like fully express what I was feeling into a song, and even just like all the way up through recording it. It's really just like super simple instrumental, but it has like a string quartet we recorded over it. Um, I think that song's always been very impactful for me, and it's always really fun when I get to bust that out on occasion.
Yeah, I think for me, that's a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think for me, uh, I really enjoy a song we have called Heaven. Um, the melody, or also the whole song, just like popped in my head. I worked at Sheets in high school, you know, the gas station Sheets.
Yeah.
Sheets is really awesome.
I'm there every 3
I'm about to
a.m.
say,
Oh,
always
yeah.
there.
I mean, it's fantastic, and I love working there. They treat you very well, and the job it's quick, so it's like entertaining. It can be fun. But I was washing dishes this day, which isn't like amazing. Sometimes it's therapeutic, but it's really gross. But I was there, and the whole song just kind of popped in my head. It's like an alt rock kind of guitar song, and I took it home and I kind of workshopped the melody a little bit. And then I spent time writing lyrics over it that really meant a lot to me. And it just felt kind of like one of those ideal projects. It just worked out in an ideal way, and it just kind of flowed from me.
That song is also somewhat special for me. This is like such a distinct memory for me, sitting in my dorm room practice room last year, and we were getting ready for our Halloween show that we played, which was our first ever show. And I just remember Hunter like playing me Heaven for the first time, and I was like, "Wow, this is gonna be a hit." And we've been playing it ever since. I don't think we've played a show without playing that song, so that's been one of my favorites for sure.
So when we
Appreciate
say that that's the go-to song for, if I was to call you for a show right now, is that the go-to song? If not, what is the go-to song?
I don't know about the go-to. It's definitely it depends on the mood. Like, what kind of gig are we talking? Like, what's the venue?
Okay. Think of the festival that y'all did earlier this year.
We did.
Something
We
like
opened
that.
with Heaven
Wow.
at the festival. However, I will say
Fun fact.
we do a very powerful closer live. We do Head to the Sun, and you might remember this from when we opened
I actually
Sway.
want to change my answer. You're performing for the Pittsburgh Steelers at halftime.
Oh,
all right, yeah.
I feel like I gotta go like Foolish Minds. I don't know, or Runaway.
Ooh.
We do like a pump up song for the Steelers, dude.
Yeah, for the Steelers. I think. Shoot, I don't know, man. That's tough.
That is tough.
I think in general, I would say it's like a tie between Foolish Minds and Head of the Sun.
Yeah.
We usually put Foolish Minds either at the halfway point of a set or at the beginning, and then we always close with Head to the Sun. But I think, like Hunter was gonna say, we always at the end do a little sing along of the end of Hey Jude.
Yeah.
I
I think I'd choose that for the Steelers. Like
Yeah.
the whole stadium singing along to like a super famous tune.
Yeah.
That would be really, really neat.
Nice. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to hear Foolish Minds.
I am
What you
too.
think?
Yeah, let's play it.
If you had told me a year ago that I thought for someone like you, I'd say that you were out of your foolish mind. But since then, I have changed my mind. I had seen the magic in your eye, and I shudder. This is when you cried. Because what's a kiss in the moonlight? I can't even tell you that I love you tonight. Someone like you is really hard to find. Because what's a kiss in the June night? If I can't even tell you that I love you tonight, if we ever part, I'll lose my foolish mind. I'll lose my foolish mind. I'll lose my I'll lose my foolish mind. I've seen darkness, thunder and rain, but I forget those every time that I see you under yellow star through the sunroof, driving through the park. I daydream, foolish mind in me. Cause what's the kiss in the moonlight? And I can't even tell you that I love you tonight. Someone like you is really hard to find. Cause what's a kiss in the June night? And I can't even tell you that I love you tonight. If we ever part, I lose my foolish mind. I'll lose my foolish mind. I'll lose my foolish mind. I'll lose my, I'll lose my foolish mind. I'll lose my foolish mind. Cause what's a kiss in the moonlight? If I can't even tell you that I love you tonight. Someone like you is really hard to find. Cause what's a kiss in the June night? If I can't even tell you that I love you tonight. If we ever part, I lose my foolish mind. Cause what's a kiss in the moonlight? If I can't even tell you that I love you tonight. Someone like you is really hard to find. Cause what's a kiss in the June night? If I can't even tell you that I love you tonight. If we ever part, I lose my foolish mind.
How we feeling? How we feeling?
I love that song.
I want to say a few things. About the background of that song. First thing, so a lot of the lyrics are about, like, especially if you're like driving through the park and stuff, it's about like Ben and I kind of growing up our backstories in high school. There's a big park in like north of Pittsburgh where we live called North Park, and we spent a lot of time. I mean, wouldn't we, Ben? We spent a lot of time
all
there.
the time.
Yeah, just like drive around, doing stupid stuff you do, whatever. But I also want to say the song itself, oh my goodness, it was such a beast to like make and produce. Like there's so many nuances. Really listen, like there's so many like strings and stuff swirling around. Even on that like the very detail of the vocals. Do you know the Dua Lipa song "Don't Start Now"? Like don't show up, don't come out. If you notice, like when she says that, it's like don't show up, and like the vocals cut off there. It's like a hard cut off. Like little nuances. Like I tried to do that with the I'll lose my, and it like cuts off. Like the little things like that. There was so much, and I remember I was almost like getting like frustrated. I kept sending like mix after mix of the song as it was being produced, like to Ben, and then he was showing our friend Josh, who was actually like part of the full band for a little bit. It had to be like 20 mixes for that. It was crazy. Yeah. So many demos for
a long time.
Yeah, but
I really like that song. I definitely get the vibe that I'm in the park driving around.
You're right. Yeah.
It's giving me Cali vibes, having a good vibe.
Sunroof open.
Sunroof open, and just a vibe. But I heard that you talked a little bit about a previous bigger band. So talk more about that and having other members a part of Jaaye.
I'll let Ben speak on the structure.
Yeah. I mean, we started out kind of how we are now as more of like a duo thing. And so that was fine because we weren't really gigging for the first however long we were together. But once we started trying to play gigs, we didn't really know how to go about it because we thought it might be kind of odd to like bring in people and have them like not be a part of the band. And we thought, would people go for that? Would we have to like pay them more? So we had, like you mentioned, a guy named Josh who we were working a lot with. He was just in the studio. He's actually our resident string player. He's a great violin player.
Amazing.
And he basically expressed interest in learning guitar. So we thought, okay, maybe we'll bring him in. And then we had a drummer from a previous band I was in high school, Adam. And we basically kind of had like a 4-piece thing going on for basically just this like last summer. And it was good while we were in Pittsburgh, but then once we came back to Penn State, we couldn't really figure out the logistics of them, would they drive back and forth or whatever. So we decided to kind of go back to the duo thing and then just have live musicians behind us. And thankfully, people usually don't need extra money.
We have a backing band for, we call them our chapters. We have State College in Pittsburgh, got people to play with us. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have any dream features locally and like big names?
Oh, dream features. First of all, locally, I said this on the last podcast, but Swervo would be super cool.
I'll let him know.
MB3 has also got a crazy flow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's rap. Also, there's a great country singer that we work with. She's actually on the Pensive Music Group record label, Natalie McMahon.
Yeah,
Definitely. Is she coming on? Was she on the podcast? Or is she coming?
Not yet, but looking
y'all
forward to it.
Definitely reach out to her. In terms of like collaborations, like actually in the industry, like if I could choose like anyone, like
We were actually talking about this earlier today. At least I was saying to Hunter how cool it would be to we would love, I guess a little bit of background. Me and Hunter both had our like middle school like guilty pleasure favorite bands, Coldplay and Imagine Dragons.
I
So-
mean, it spawned. That spawned our musical love.
It
Like,
did.
I
So-
grew up on Coldplay, grew up on Imagine Dragons.
We were just saying today, we were watching a clip of Coldplay perform. We were saying how cool it would be to have Chris Martin from Coldplay and Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons on a song with us. So I guess that'd probably be like the dream for us.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that at all.
Personally, I think that Kendrick Lamar is a fountainhead of art and wisdom. I would love to have like a feature from him. That would be like a dream feature on a song.
Nice.
I'm not mad at either one of those answers.
Tell us about the future of G Band. Like, what's next? I know you graduate first and you graduate second. So what's that gonna look like?
Guess we gotta get famous before I graduate.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, we plan on staying in Pittsburgh, kind of building up a presence there. This summer, I think a big goal of ours is to grow more in the scene. Play it like I mentioned, like how can we like play like bigger and bigger venues in Pittsburgh? How can we open for like artists and bands who are bigger than we are? Honestly, we don't have, I don't think, an exact like timeline set. More so just kind of working towards the dream and seeing how it pans out.
I do have an idea though for my senior year. I haven't told Hunter about this at all, but I would.
On the show.
Yeah. By the time it's my senior year, it'll have been like 3-ish years of straight J. So kind of in that break period, I really would like to start my little interim solo kind of band. Kind of like, if you're familiar with Paul McCartney from the Beatles, he started Wings after the Beatles. I would love to do something like that, just kind of like play some different stuff and just like have a little bit of fun before I graduate and we get back to the J grind.
Like your own little wings.
Exactly, yeah.
Drop like an album,
Yeah, something like that would be cool.
I'm not mad at that either. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So as far as you guys' new projects that you guys are working on, do you have a hard deadline for us to drop even a single?
We told the rough release date of the EP.
We did say December last time, so
and it's not December. We spent more time working on the EP.
Yeah.
Okay.
7-song EP, dropping sometime in February. That's for sure. That's happening.
Yes.
Album, whenever it's done.
Okay.
It's gonna be a while.
Whenever it's done.
Yeah.
Whenever it's done, it sounds like a good deadline to me.
Hopefully we get to hear it for the summer.
Maybe.
Honestly, maybe
single. Maybe singles.
Maybe singles. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not mad at that either.
Singles preceding the album, maybe, but definitely out of the whole album by the summer.
Yeah.
So tell us how hard it is to balance the work with the social life or the Penn State life.
Good question. I think Ben and I, we kind of just travel as a pair. So if one of us is going somewhere, usually both of us are going.
I feel that.
You definitely do have to sacrifice some Friday and Saturday nights. If we're in the studio and time is running, sometimes you got to stay there and finish what's being worked on. Other times we do go out and have fun. Last weekend went out and had fun. It was great. It's sometimes good, as a creative, like you want to spend all your time working like on your craft, but sometimes you need to step away, take a break and have some fun. I don't know if you have any more remarks on that.
I think a lot of people probably go out more than we do. We probably go out like once a month, if that.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. We really just, I think our like fun social time is just like making music together.
It's like hanging out.
It's just
honestly.
like hanging out. So
We have like 4 roommates we hang out with all
Yeah.
the time too.
So yeah, I guess we hang out with them a lot. But like in terms of actually like going out, we really just don't a lot.
Yeah.
Feel that?
Are you guys getting used to performing now?
Yeah,
Getting used to performing.
I would say
Yeah, I think so.
I've been.
That's good.
I think I grew up on the stage in one way or another, so I've always been very comfortable in front of people. I'm going to make an assumption. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think when we first started, Hunter was a little nervous on stage. He would get a little excited.
Nervous is definitely not the word.
He doesn't
It's-
get nervous. He was overexcited, but
I was inexperienced.
yeah.
Inexperienced.
But I had already been in a band that had performed a little bit, and I've lots of performing experience. So I feel like I was maybe a little bit ahead of Hunter in that regard. But I would say by this point, Hunter's pretty caught up to where I am.
Yeah, starting out, I definitely had no idea what I was doing. The first time you get in front of a microphone to sing in front of, however many people, it's kind of weird. Like, you're in that moment, kind of like, I can't believe I'm doing this right now. Yeah, definitely learning experience for sure.
So tell us, how long is a typical studio session for you guys?
Anywhere from 30 minutes to record a guitar to like 12 hours. It definitely varies.
The summer we recorded our first album, there were many, many days in a row where we wouldn't sleep. Hunter would just stay at my house all night. We would just record for hours and hours until the sun came up. And honestly, it was awesome. Those are like my favorite sessions.
Yeah, that was low-key like peak life. We just like stay up, do music. We'd run in sheets like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
We would like grab some like fried food or something, then just keep going. It's
Some swings.
yeah.
And jalapeno popper.
Yeah,
Of
mac
course.
and cheese bites.
Mac
Mac and
bites,
cheese bites.
of
Yeah,
course.
mott sticks for sure.
Not sticks.
I love sheets.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, no free promo sheets.
Yeah.
well, since you said you were up until the sun came up, let's play Head to the Sun.
Yeah.
That was really
Great
clever.
segue.
Not a bad idea. My first time hearing this song, I see this song.
You couldn't see at first, but I was blind and scared to look at you. Then night by night my feelings turned, and I fell further when yours did too. Picture this, it's you and me, but it's only the good side I see. Though day by day you rip me apart, your bitter hold just tightens on me. Head to the sun, the way I see you in a picture of love. You and I could never be. You said we'd give it a shot. You knew that's what I wanted to hear. But now that you're here in my arms, I don't think that you're right for me. stars, the way I see you in the picture of love. You and I could never be. Head to the stars, the way I see you in the picture of love. You and I could never head to the stars, the way I see you. Head to the stars, the way I see you. Head to the stars, the way I see you. Head to the stars, the way I see you.
All right.
First things first, I just gotta say that song, I like it. That it's giving me the vibes of
Thank you.
an outro to like a really good movie. Like, I don't know. Like,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of outros, I forgot how long that outro was.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
what
so
we're doing
long.
I
there.
was gonna say it has to be. The last one had a story behind it. I know this one has to have a story behind it. 4.5 minutes. This has a story behind it.
It's actually kind of funny. It really doesn't. It's
That's
sort of just
crazy.
it.
That's
Conceptually,
thing.
the song was to me like my tribute to the Beatles and just kind of that era of music. I really just wanted to like get the sound and that feeling that some of those old recordings give you. It really is just like it's just a love story. I mean, you know, it's not a love story. I guess it's like a breakup story, but
It's about like optimism.
yeah, it's like
Head to the sun. You know?
yeah, but you and I can never be, you know.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it's really
The
it's
good
not-
and the bad. The
the
bright
good
and the
bad.
dark.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Light
It's-
and the dark.
But it's really it wasn't about anybody. It was really just a song that came from the music. I sat down with my guitar and that just I don't know that riff just like came to me.
Well, so what was kind of the process behind doing all this? I know the song definitely took a lot of work, and I hear all the instruments.
Yeah.
How was the process? Was it enjoyable? Was it kind of like, when is this gonna end? Like, how was it?
It's most of the time it's enjoyable. It's when you really get down to like maybe like the tedious things or like the parts where it kind of feels a bit more like work. Like what I was I mentioned earlier like about like we like taking control of the whole process and stuff. You know, when you're doing music, like once you get to the end, like the engineering of the music, like the mixing and the mastering for the audio, I'd be totally fine if somebody else did that because that's also that's kind of like the annoying part.
Mhm.
I'd say for this song, it was really tedious. Same thing with like Foolish Minds, just like how to get like the perfect balance, like the perfect mix of sounds. But for actually recording it, it was really fun. It was just in Ben's like stuffy upstairs little studio that we used to use. So yeah.
It was I think that song was really it's a good memory because that was like we mentioned the first time Josh came in.
Oh yeah.
You hear a lot of those really cool violin parts. That was all him just being really, really good at the instrument.
I remember he came over with like a McCafe coffee at like 11 p.m. and I knew at that point I'm like, yeah, I'm not going home early tonight. So I stayed up the whole night recording it.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was definitely a long session recording all of that. We did. I think we recorded mostly in one day, or one night. But
one night.
yeah, it was great.
I love how your music evokes a lot of emotion. It makes the listener feel a way. So since you guys said that didn't really have anything to do with like your personal love life, because I assumed that it was a breakup situation for one of you guys.
Not that one.
Anything, thank God. But what songs did actually relate to your personal life? that you've made?
Oh man.
Personally, I feel like all the songs that I think that I maybe like spearheaded, like the lyrics, like the themes, I think definitely had like a personal element to it, like Heaven and like Foolish Minds, like definitely like drawing on experiences.
I would say most of mine relate to me in some way. It's just it might not be explicitly like what the song is about. Like Head to the Sun, it definitely taps into some emotion I have in me. I think it's more the optimism thing that comes through. Um, just not so much the actual like relationship part of it. That was more just like a vessel for that kind of theme. But I'm trying to think if there's a particular song that actually, yeah. Okay, so on the title track of our next EP, which I'm not gonna say the title yet, but
Oh, why not?
it is the final song on the EP, and it is very like emotional and personal to me. I wrote out there's a full like symphony part that accompanies it. We got a bunch of string players and horn players and everything to like come and fully record this like symphony part.
It's like a full orchestra on the song. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really it's just a song about moving past a relationship in one way or another, and it's hard to express beyond what the song itself says, but that one is really deep and personal to me to an extent where it's almost like it can be hard to play live sometimes.
Well, I'm gonna speak for me and Safian on this one. So first of all, we both respect the grind that both you guys do. You know,
We do.
handing out your own music and performing any gig that you can. You know,
Appreciate
just
it.
promoting yourself, self promotion. I'm all about that.
Of course.
But what we like to do on this show is to tell the artist to try to give some inspiration to the next person or the next upcoming artist. So what advice do you have for someone who's trying to start out?
I think it's hard to do advice when you're in the position we're in, where you're still trying to climb up that ladder. But I'd say, if I had anything to tell somebody, grab the camera. It's just be you, particularly like if you're trying to do music, be you. Be the vulnerable you. Don't hide behind any kind of wall. Like really,
Don't hide.
my idea, yeah. My idea of it really is to just draw on the emotions you're truly feeling. Don't that's it, honestly. That's it. Yeah, just be you. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna expand to sort of just like art or passion in general. I think you might have like certain ideas of what you think is like your thing, but always just be open to whatever you really want to do. And once you find that passion or that thing that you just can't not do, like never let go of that. Just always make time to keep working on your passion, whether it's music or art or whatever else. Always just make time to do what's really important to you.
Right.
Nice.
Shout out to the new and up and coming.
Shout out.
Well, for the last and final question, I want you guys to talk about how you would feel seeing yourselves if you got rich, well, when you get rich and famous. Give a message to yourself so you can look back on it.
For sure. Well,
Watch this video and we're gonna say 5 years. Watch this.
Yes.
Watch this and then.
Well,
Yeah.
we could just come back on your podcast when you guys are rich and
Yes.
famous podcast.
Yeah.
Hey,
Of course.
I'm all for it.
I'll let you go first.
I hope you're being good to yourself. I hope you're being authentically you. Don't let the fame change you. I don't think it will, but I don't know. So, just be you. Keep doing your thing. Keep writing. Keep recording. And I think I said this last time, but I hope you have a lot of guitars and expensive instruments.
You did.
Yeah. Probably say just like don't lose your values. I think that I'm guessing with success, like if you get like mainstream success, I'm guessing that there's some sort of encouragement. There's some inclination for you to act in a way that's not morally correct, or just step out of character. And I'd say stick to a good character. Be morally correct. Don't let success change who you are fundamentally.
Nice. Hey, well, that's going to conclude this episode of The Platform. We had Jay Band today, aka Kobe and Shaq of Penn State.
Woo!
We gonna give it up, man. We gonna see y'all next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks so much.
you.
It's been a pleasure.